Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learned about how do we work with asynchronous functions and the techniques in React. So, we discussed about asynchronous and promise based actions. How to handle them, we learned about that. So, everywhere when you are writing events, you are mapping the data, accessing the data, we have to use asynchronous and promise. Yesterday, I showed you in some places how to use them. So promise is also async based only. Promise is an asynchronous based. And in this example I showed you where we tried the data fetching from weather API. So here what we are doing is whenever the city is changed, then we created an asynchronous function. That asynchronous function will execute without blocking other tasks and without waiting for the other process, it will return the value. It will get the value. Await is an option for that. And you can use while storing the data, fetching the data, everything you can use by using this technique. So to improve the performance, we can use these options. Now, some more important hooks are there to understand. So as I told you, use memo, use callback like hooks. But to interact and use those type of hooks, better to have good application, and on an application we will see how to use them. That means generally what people do when they are learning about the hooks, they directly use one example like count plus plus factorial or some numbers. On that they try the example and try to understand a concept. So that is not great. What we will do is we will take one simple real world application. In that application, how these hooks will fit, we will learn about that. Because if you correctly implement in a application, then you can understand its actual purpose. Everywhere, generally on internet, online, everywhere, they will give a simple program like count increment, count decrement, ABC, XYZ functions to understand these hooks. Better we will use one reasonable application. So for that, we need to learn some more concept. With those concept, we will implement the additional hooks, the new hooks and the other important hooks we will see there. So to learn other hooks, we are going to learn one more additional concept here. And with that concept, we will implement the other hooks also so that we can build one simple application. I will show you a simple project like On that, we will implement the hooks also. First, I will give a simple definition about the hooks. Then we can implement in one example. So what are the other hooks as I told you? So we have a hook called use memo. We will learn the definition, but we will implement in an example later, because for that we will create one complete example. Then we can easily handle that, right? So use memo. Yes, you people who is are you new to class? The back, are you new? Are you new to class? Regularly attending? Have any issues? So how to handle this memo and callback we will see. But as I told you, we will implement in one example. For that, some more topic you need to learn. It's an important one. So actual concept is nothing but what is purpose of use memo is it is used to memorize, memorize, memorize a memorize any value so that it can save round trip actually. So that it can save round trip. Actually, it can cache the value and avoid re-rendering of value until it is changed. Until it is changed. It can cache the value and avoid re-rendering until it is changed. For these hooks, we need a good example to practice. We need a good example to understand. That is use memo actually. Syntactically, here we have constant, some cached data is equal to use memo uses a function, and this function returns, actually it returns data. Actually it returns data, and it will have a dependency. It usually have a dependency. So that is the basic syntax of use memo. So another one we have same to use memo is we have use callback. Use callback. It is similar to memo, but caches a function instead of value. But caches a function instead of value. So it can avoid re-rendering of data of component, re-rendering of component until the dependency changes, until the dependency changes. Until the dependency changes. So generally, it will not use memo actually, right? Syntactically, this is use memo, use callback. Use callback uses a function. It will perform a functionality and dependency. These two look like same use effect. Huh? They both look like use effect only. Like use effect have a function and it is having a dependency. I already told you to understand and work with dependency. Now you need to learn a good interface. So to use all these hooks and implement, we will now design a simple real-time application. That means we will add all the new hooks also into that application. So if you see in an application, you can easily understand. Because outside when they give examples on YouTube everywhere, they will take a simple calculation and give an example on calculation. But interviewer is not satisfied with that. That means usually when interviewer asks you a question and asks you to show where we implement in real time, everybody tells the same example what do you watch on YouTube or some websites, and it will be a common example. But interviewers are not satisfied with that. They ask like in real time project where I will use, show me that, where in which scenario where I use. So we will try that now. So for that, we are going to build one small app. In that, we will implement these hooks. We will implement some new hooks also, whatever available with the React. 19 has introduced new hooks, those also we will see. For designing a complete app now, we need to learn two concepts. One is APIs to work with data. Another one is routing. So today we are going to see that important concept. And with the routing, we will implement all these hooks while designing a application. So this is a very big concept in React. So very major topic in React is routing in React. If you know this, you can implement all these hooks in a better way. And this is the major concept in React applications. So you are going to learn one major concept, and this is the primary thing in building an app. Actually, what is the purpose of React library? What is the purpose of React library? Its purpose is to build a good user interface, good UI for web applications. Already we learned the basic definition. React is a library for building UI. UI for whom? Web and native applications. Web means web applications, native means mobile apps. So what is the key concept is React is used in building single page application. Single page application means users stay on one page, everything comes onto that page. That is possible by using the technique of routing. That means in designing single page application, the key role is played by routing. We will see this routing. We will build one app. We will see how to implement these hooks in those apps. That will give a clarity on that. So what is routing? Actually, routing is a technique used in web applications to configure user and SEO friendly URLs. So user and SEO friendly URLs. It is a technique used in web applications to configure user friendly, SEO friendly URLs. So actually, what is user friendly URL? User friendly URLs are nothing but user can easily query what he wants in a website from the URL itself. That means from URL itself, they can query what they want directly. That means, for example, suppose you have Amazon, and in Amazon, I want some watches related information. I don't need any search box or anything. Directly in address bar, I can type /watches and I will get the watches related information. It will get that. That means a user can ask what he wants directly in the address bar. We need to build the URL in such a way. Remember, everything it will not do the same. That means you can't ask whatever you want. Suppose I asked mobiles, it will get me mobiles related information. This is mobiles. Suppose I am asking televisions and it will not get me anything. Why? Because I have some restrictions. I will not show everything through query. I will show only few through query. Others you need to access in a hierarchical order. That means why mobiles and watches are coming, why televisions is not coming. That means Amazon is not having televisions. It is having, but it is not allowed through query. That we can design which one is allowed, which one is not. We can create the queries. So user friendly URL means user can easily browse and search for any content directly through URL, through the URL. That makes querying more easy. That makes accessing more easy. That is one advantage of routes. Another one, SEO friendly means search engines can exactly know what you are looking for. It is easy to identify. SEO friendly URLs and user friendly URLs. That means search engines and websites can exactly know what you are watching. For example, these days you can see when you open any website, in that so much information is present. You scroll to some location, you stop there, close the website, Next day when you open, it will even continue from where you stopped. That means it will show that previously you watched this. Do you want to continue from there? Websites have the ability to know that. How it is possible? That means how a website knows what data I am watching, where I stopped, how it will continue from there. All this is possible by using the concept of what? Routing. Lot of analytics is used in the background and navigation is managed by using what? Route. Routing allows to create and configure user-friendly, SEO-friendly URLs, right? So what is user-friendly URL means? User-friendly URL allows to query any content directly through the address bar. You can say through the URL in address bar. So SEO friendly URL allows the web crawlers to know the exact location on page. You know, web crawlers are the robots used for searching. Google and all these search engines, they use what? They use web crawlers. Web crawlers as what? They are the robots used for searching. So routing allows you to configure user-friendly URLs and SEO-friendly URLs. User and SEO-friendly URL. Not only that, actually, routing enables navigation in a SPA, that is single page application. Routing enables navigation in single page application. Navigation, and how the navigation happens is new details are added to page without reloading the page. The new details are added to page without reloading the page. So it uses internally AJAX calls. By using the AJAX calls, it can load the new details added into the page without reloading the page. That means what is the nature of single page application is user can stay on one page and get access to everything from the page. User can just stay on one page and can get access to everything from the page. User will not navigate from one page to another page. There will not be multiple pages. There will be only one page. This is the main concept of routing. Why we are learning this? Because that is the primary concept of single page application. With this only we can build one app. And if you build an app, then you can understand the dependencies and you can implement all the different types of hooks they give to you. That will help you to understand the hooks in a correct way. So this routing we will implement in one example. Actually, concept you understood. What is the concept of routing is in single page applications, user will stay on only one page and he will get access to everything from that page. All these days, what you are doing, you are practicing different examples. When you are practicing different examples every day, you add a new component and you keep that in the startup. So that is not required. We will have only one startup, and from that startup, we can access everything. That means we will open one screen. From that screen, we can access everything in our application. So every day we will not change the startup now. We will have only one startup, and from there we can access everything. That is what we are going to create. Actually, to design this navigation in React applications, this routing is implemented both client side, server side also. Server side, we generally do that in APIs. APIs will use server side routing. I will show you in backend integration. And the client side, React, Angular, Vue, all these technologies use routing. Server side routing is there, client side routing is there. So now you are going to learn how to implement routing client side. For server side, you need to learn about APIs. By using APIs, we can do that. So actually, routing can be configured server side and client side. It can be configured server side and client side. We have both. Actually, server side routes are mostly used for APIs. They are mostly used for APIs. Server side routes are mostly used for APIs. They are mostly used for APIs. So you can create and configure API endpoints using server side route. You can create and configure API endpoints using server side routes. We have server side routing, client side routing also. First, I will show you a simple concept of server side, how routes work. We will do one thing, because to understand server side routes, you need to learn a server side technology like Java, PHP, Node.js. Any server side technology is required. JSP, PHP, ASP, these are all server side technologies. And you need databases like Oracle, MySQL, MongoDB, like databases. But that we will see in next level. Without that also, you can configure your own APIs by using a local JSON server. So we have a JSON server. By using that JSON server, we can maintain data and we can create server-side routes also. How? Let's see. That we will use in our application, right? How to create these server-side routes. So we are going to see one example, creating server side routes. You can say API routes using JSON server. How to create server side API routes using JSON server. First, we will see a simple example of server side, then we can see client side. So server side routes, how to do that? You have a JSON server. In many practical interviews also, they ask you to do that. That means generally when you go to interviews of React, when they have to give you some practical test, then they cannot give you database server side access. So they will say that use a local server, maintain data there, and use the data for designing one application. You design application with a local server data and use it. If you can do it, then it is same with the backend databases also. So this JSON server you have to install first. Install JSON server on your device. That means what you have to do. So on your device from command prompt. Command prompt or anywhere in your terminals also, what you have to do, you have to install JSON server, npm install globally JSON server. You have to run this command. JSON server is a server we are installing in our computer to maintain data and to maintain the APIs. To maintain data and API, we are using this JSON server. So what you do is open your command prompt and here npm install globally JSON server. You set up this. So it is going to download and install JSON server. Globally means you can access from any project in your computer. If you don't use globally, it will be installed locally. Local means currently I am running the command in C drive. So it will install only for that drive. I cannot access from another location. So you put globally, it is set up globally. So all the packages are installed. Everything is there, right? That is fine. Okay. It is just giving one option like one npm package manager is having a latest release update. You want to update. That's not required. It is not mandatory to update. Whatever npm is there, that is enough. If it is creating, if it new version is having mandatory security issues, then you have to update. Otherwise, not required. That's not required. Okay. Now, once I set up the JSON, means install the JSON server, now you can close. You can use in any project you want. Angular, React, general Java, .NET applications, or even in ordinary HTML, JavaScript projects also you can use it now. Anywhere you want API, then you can manage this. You can use it. Okay. Let's go to, now once you do this, now you need to maintain data. So how to maintain data? So add a new file into your project by name You can give any name, db.json. You add a new file into your project by name db.json. And if you remembered already, we learned creating JSON file, accessing data from JSON file. Already I showed you several examples in our React itself. And where we created the JSON file, we added the JSON file in public folder, right? Public folder. So this is our project. We will go to our public folder. In the public folder, already we added so many JSON files. I showed you so many JSON files. So this is, we are having mobiles, product. So many JSON files are present. Mobiles, products, JSON files are there. So you can use these JSON files, but we need to prepare the data in a correct format. Correct format. Okay. Already we learned this JSON. In this, I will add a new file. And what is its name? db.what? JSON. In JSON, how to maintain the data? Actually, JSON can have an array. JSON can have an object. It can have an array or object. Actually, for a project, when we are maintaining data, for a project, different modules will be there. For example, shopping. For shopping application, we will have users data separate, admin data separate, products data separate. Like that, we have separate data. Now, if you want to maintain data for every module separately, products data separate, users data separate, then you have to create. So here an property, this is users, and this property is an array. In that array, you can have users related information. And according to the JSON server, every record that you add must have a unique ID. And it is compulsory that the ID must be the name ID. ID is compulsory. That is the primary key for identifying every record. If you don't give ID, it will generate an ID. So this ID is compulsory. And I given the ID something like what? 1. That is 1. After that, we have some user ID. User ID. User ID is a string. Suppose I am giving a string. Like user ID is some John underscore some NIT, like this. Another one is some password. Password is some string, John at NIT. So we have some email. So some John at gmail.com, something like this. We are maintaining data. This is user's data. And I want another user. And I will keep another object, number 2, and some another data, some David. So this is some another username David11, and some here I given some David at some outlook.com, something like this. This is users related data. Suppose after that, after users data, next I need to maintain another module. For example, as I told you, first we will learn basics, then we will build one app. I will show you a simple project of all CRUD operations, how to handle. These are users, and we will create one simple to-do application. That means appointments application. User can log in, user can register, and user can store his appointments. When user logins, his dashboard will open. In that he can see the appointments he is having. He can add appointments. He can remove appointments. He can modify appointments. Those concepts we need to implement. So what we are doing here is simply we are creating another collection called appointments. I am creating another collection called appointments. Appointments is again an array. In that every appointment have an ID. ID is someone. Every appointment have a title. Title is some title. Title is like suppose some friend birthday, something like this. And here we are defining some date. Date is a string form 2025, suppose 03, some 22, something. And we are having some user ID. User ID means whose appointment is this? This belongs to which user? This belongs to John. That means all appointments are stored in one place. Every appointment belongs to some user. That means there is a relation between these two, users and what? Appointment. That means these appointments are kept in one place, but every appointment belongs to some user. Okay, that's just roughly I given one option. Okay, now we have two collections, right? This is one object. Let's copy another object. And this is two. And this is some project documents submission. So submit project document something. And that is some date I am giving. And here I am giving this appointment belongs to David. That is the user. Every user can have multiple appointments. Okay, this is the db.json. Data is maintained in this way. After you maintain the data, now what you have to do in the terminal, you have to run it. How do we run it? We have to use the command JSON server. And what is the file name? db.what? JSON. And we have to use a watch. We have to use the watch. Actually, there are so many commands. Watch is nothing but it will continuously monitoring the file. If any new record is added or modified, updated, automatically it will show us, right? It is going to change that. Actually, this is what is that here have? DB is not here. Where it is in? It is in public folder. Okay, now it is ready. Actually, we kept in public folder. So we have to set that, change the location to public folder. In public folder, we kept the JSON file. We have to run this command. Now see, JSON server started and it is running in which port number? 3000. And you can see automatically it created endpoints. Actually, these are called routes. Two endpoints are created. Two routes are created. These are server side routes. One for users, another one for appointments. So what you do is open browser and you request http:// what is it? Localhost, and port number is how much? 3000. The port number is 3000. If already 3000 port number is used by somebody, some applications are using. You can change port number also. What you can do is here you can add hyphen port and you can put a new port number also. You can change the port number. Default port number is okay, 3000 is the port number it is coming. But actually in 3000 port number, our React app may be running. You have to use a different port number, right? Okay, initially when I request this, you see these are two items available. One is users, another one is appointments. When I go to users, you see this is the users data. And when I go to appointments, this is appointments data. Not only that, actually JSON server builds what are these two users and appointments? These are server side routes. One route is returning users, another route is returning appointment. Not only that, it have more routes. What are the routes? You can just put slash users slash 2. That means it is going to get the second user. It is going to get the second user. That means it is going to automatically define the data. Suppose I am looking for appointments. In the appointments /1, it will get the first appointment details. /2, this is the second appointment details. These are server side routes. And we will use these routes in building one app now with client side routes also. By default, actually, you see, when I go to the docs, in the docs, it will give you all the information about how JSON server works. Not required. That is actually help here. That is the help. I will tell you what routes it will have. Default routes, what will have. We can actually, these routes are same like if you observe Fake Store API. In Fake Store API, you can see these people are giving the routes here. You can see these are routes. What is the first route? Products. It will get all the products data. The same thing, we designed our own data. We created our own data with our own routes. This product /1 will get the product based on ID. Not only that, it will have post methods, put method, delete methods also. That means we can add the data, update the data, and delete the data. We will learn how to handle them and how to work with them. Our intention is to understand what is route. Route provides a clean URL so that you can query what you want. You can handle various requests. You can get, you can post, you can put, you can delete. All these actions you can perform. So what you have to do now is, this is server side route. That means we created the server side endpoints. So you add this file. Now add data into db.json. And here actually you can keep anywhere. This is public folder. Huh? And how to add the data into JSON, syntactically I will give here object. Will have a key and it is array of objects. You have another key and again array of objects. Array of objects. So So a simple note, key is considered as API endpoint. Key is considered as API endpoint. That is considered as the endpoint. And now the example is here. I will copy this code. The sample code I created, I will copy that. That is the sample code. I am keeping this code here. This is the code in db.what.json. That's the code in db.json. After that, only one next point what you have to do is change to the public folder where you kept db.json and run the following command. What is the command? That means JSON server db.json watch. Make sure that you are running from the same folder where that file is present. Now, here, server starts by creating endpoints, API endpoints. So here, http://localhost:3000 is the default port number. Users is one endpoint and appointments is another. And one more point is the server side routes are configured automatically. This I will show you how to create our own routes also with a backend database and all. We'll learn about that. What are the routes? Get /users, get /users/1. It is actually returns all users, returns user by ID. We have similarly post users, adds new user, put users/1. This is nothing but modify specific user. Means these are already ready. These all routes are internally ready. That means one for fetching, another for posting, another for updating. All these routes are internally ready. How to handle them, I will show you. And we have delete. This is users/1. This is delete specific user. These are the server side routes I given only for users. Same for appointment. Appointment will be same. That means what will be the another one? We have what? Appointments. What it will do? Return all appointments. It will return all appointments. Similarly, others. Similar to similar for other requests. Get, post, same like users. Actually, this is called server-side route. So routing is a concept which is both server-side and client-side. And actually now you can use these APIs and you can implement in your application. That's very simple now. Suppose I will show a simple concept here, and I will first stop the JSON server. To stop the JSON server, Control C will terminate. Suppose JSON server port number 4040, some port number I am giving. Actually, you will learn if you learn server side technology, any server side technology you will learn. Actually, in server side technologies, Java, .NET, all these will teach you, Node.js and all. Generally, if anybody asked you what is the range of port numbers? Port numbers range from 1 to 65,565. That is the range of port numbers. 65,535. That is the range of port numbers. So if in interview anybody asks what is the range of port numbers, this is the range of port number. Usually your server side technologies will teach you. Java, .NET and all these. Node.js if you are learning. Actually in that 1 to 1023, these are called as well-known port numbers. Well-known port numbers. And 1024 to 41591. 41591. These are called as registered port numbers. Registered port numbers. And 41592 to 65565. So these are called as dynamic port numbers. Dynamic port numbers. That's general server side knowledge, right? So usually port numbers have a range of 1 to 65,000. You have to make sure that any number you given within that. Actually port numbers, mostly we prefer port numbers, dynamic port numbers. Dynamic port numbers means they will be changing. They will not be static, same. Every time it will get a new number. Registered port numbers, well-known port numbers. So, and dynamic port numbers. That's the basic range of port numbers actually. You can give any port number here. I given some 4040. That means actually you can give port numbers. Always prefer to use these numbers. When you are working for Angular, React or any technology. So always your numbers will be between this 1024 to 45. These are registered port numbers. That means any computer in the world, you run React, it will run on 3000. It is a registered number. Any computer in the world, you run Angular, it have a registered port number 4200. That means they have certain port number. I hope you people learned general HTML live servers. you know it runs on a port number 5500. Eh? You can change port numbers, right? How do you change the port number? Actually, we have to use this command. What is it? JSON server db.what JSON watch, and here port is some 4040. Then it is going to run on 4040 port number. Because 3000 is not good, because already our React apps runs on that number. So better you change it, right? So you define this port number. Specific port number you can run JSON server db.json and watch, and port is some new number you give. Some new number you configured. Right. Now, once you define this, you can use your data. You can use your data. Let's design one interface. Huh? For example, I will go to now SRC components. I will take some to do dot to do folder. In components, I will add some to do, and just I'm giving to do.jsx. So first I'm just showing you that you can use the data now. Export function to do, and it should return a simple container. Here I want to container fluid. I want to fetch the data. I'm using constant. Constant is what? Appointments, and set appointments is equal to use state. I'm expecting an array. Right. Next, what? We will use effect, and when component mounts, we will do one thing. When component mounts, we will use Axios dot get. This time, what is the API URL? http:// what is that URL? You have this URL running here. That means what is your API URL? http:// what is it? Localhost colon 4040 / what? Appointments. It is going to return all appointments. Dot then what we need to do? Response, and set appointments response dot what? Data. And I want to display the appointments here. That means your appointments, something. And here we will put a table. So class table and table hover something. tr, thead, tr, and th. We have title, and we have date, and we have actions. We will just keep that. We have tbody. In that we will use appointments dot what? Map. Read every appointment. For every appointment, create a row. And in this row, I will add a key that will be appointment.id. That is appointment ID. In that we will have one cell. That cell contains, what is it? Appointment.what? Title. In another cell, it will contain appointment.what? Date. You need to see what data you kept there, date. Right. So that is the appointment title and date. And I will keep another table, MQTT. Here I will put a button, class BTN warning BI pen. Okay, I have another button, class BTN. So class name BTN danger BI trash. Okay. You can see now, I will keep this in the startup. This is to do. Okay. And in another terminal, open another new terminal, run your app. In one terminal, API is running, in another terminal, your app is running. Now you can switch between the terminals anytime from here. Right. Now it is starting the application. It is accessing the data and showing. Now the data is coming from our own API. It is coming from our own API. So I'm just using here some MX as 2. It will have some gap. Now we can define the interactions here now. It is not example, just I'm showing you a point. We will create an interface now. That means user will log in, or if user don't have an account, user will register. After registering, he will log in. When he log in, only his appointments will be shown. He will able to add new appointments. He will able to delete appointments. He will able to modify the appointments. And everything should reflect on the screen. We need forms, we need interactions, we need navigation. That means what should happen when I click on this? This appointment should open in edit mode so that I can do the changes and I can update those changes. Actually, adding appointment, updating appointments, deleting appointments, already API is ready. Actually, you cannot test the API from browser. APIs are tested using a separate tool. There is a API debugging tool called Postman. Postman, Fiddler, Swagger. These are API debugging tools. These tools are used by software developers to test the APIs, how they are working, are the methods perfectly sending the same kind of data or not, they will do that. You can download any of these tools. For example, you see, suppose I am having a tool called Postman. This is Postman. In this Postman tool, this is a debugger. You can download and install Postman debugger. So this is a API debugging tool. Here already I have so many others. I will delete them. Actually, you can make a new request here. You see a plus button is present. And click the plus button. And what is the request? Get. What is your URL? http:// what is it? Localhost 4040 / what is it? Appointments, and click on send. Then it will get those appointments and show them here. That means it will fetch the data and it will show the data. Now I want to add appointment. I want to add appointment or delete appointment or update appointment. You see here you can select which method. Post. On post method into appointments, we need to send some data. Then you will have body. Go to the body. In the body, you need to select the URL encoded data. URL encoded data. Here you enter the key. What is the key? Every appointment needs an ID. ID is suppose 3. Already I have 2 appointments. Next one, every appointment have title. Title I given as meeting with the client, something. And appointment have user date, right? Date. I given date some 20, 25, 0, 4 and 10. User ID. User ID, this belongs to David. And I click on send. That means it has to send that. And it is expecting, so it is saying not a valid JSON. Why it is not valid JSON? Because you need to learn how to collect the data, because this is not form. What we have to do, we need to create a form. From the form, we need to send the data. From the form, when you send the data, this data will be inserted. And actually it will be updated into your database. So here it is not updated because still it is not completed. Why? Because what we have to do, whatever data comes, we have to convert that into JSON and we need to insert. We have to create a complete interface. I will show you how to create that. Then we can test all these methods. Actually, this is form data. Currently, we are not having any form, right? So we will, how to insert and update, we will design with the interface. For that only, we have to use this one. What is it? We have to use client side routes. These are all which routes? Server side route. I will give one example here. What is the example? We added a component called what? todo.jsx. In todo.jsx, I will copy this. Means the API that we created, we are using that here. This is just to make you understand about how the routes are configured, which side? Server side. Server side routes are defined in this way. Now we will use these routes and we will build the client side interface. Client side interface, for that we need to learn client side routing. Client side routing means you have to learn routing in React. In that application, we will implement all these hooks, how to handle them, right? So server side routing, you can create one server, you can configure the data and define the routes. Now we will see how to handle another one. What is it? Client side routing. How do we deal with the client side routing? That we will see in next session, right? Today this is enough. First you have to try this. Once you can create the server side routes, now we will design client side routes. We will create an interface for this app. We will create a small project using client side and server side routes. In that project, we will implement all these hooks. The existing hooks, the new hooks, what they introduced, we can easily implement them. That we'll see in next session. Tomorrow we will do that. First you try the JSON server. Then tomorrow we'll continue with this. Okay, right.